Okay, thanks for watching my estuary biome food chain sample. Mrs. Woodman is putting this together as a sample for class so that you guys can see what kinds of things we need to have in there. On the title slide, you should be introducing your biome, giving facts about its climate and where in the globe you might find it. So an estuary is a place where fresh water and marine water mix. And the circulation of water and how much salt, how much fresh water divides estuaries up into different categories. The location of the boundaries and the amount of mixing may change depending on how strongly the river puts out its fresh water, how high the waves are, and tidal influences. As you can see in this picture, this is a complicated coastline where the ocean's in the background and then the fresh water is coming down. So you're going to have different kinds of mixing and different kinds of salinity in each area. So estuary organisms are highly adapted to live in both freshwater and varying amounts of salinity in the water. Estuaries are not restricted to a certain climate region. You can find them in temperate zones as well as tropical zones. The climate will also have an impact on the type of species that you find in an area. Two major problems for organisms that choose to live in estuary biomes are fluctuations or changes in salt concentration, that's the salinity, and sedimentation, how fast it's putting solid matter down. Salt concentrations are regulated by an organism's homeostasis, and when the concentration in the water fluctuates, it's harder for that organism's homeostasis to respond to. Too much salt, and organisms have to be able to get rid of it somehow. Not enough salt, and the organisms have to be able to balance it somehow. My second picture is of an estuary food web. This is just one particular example. A food web is interconnected food chains within an ecosystem that show abiotic and biotic components that interact in an ecosystem to form interconnected relationships. In the food chain that I'm choosing to display today, I'm supposed to, for each one, talk about the species. This is on part 6 of your handout. I'm talking about the name of the species, the trophic level, and how the organism gains its energy and who it passes it on to. So know that this is phytoplankton. Phytoplankton live at the top of the marine environment, and in some freshwater, they are usually photosynthetic. That's the reason they have to live at the top of the water. And photosynthesis means they are producers or autotrophs. They're at the first trophic level because they generate energy from the sun. The organism takes up energy from the sun and it passes its energy along to primary consumers. This is a burrowing shrimp. It has a unique place in this ecosystem because it stimulates the abiotic environment as well as other organisms it lives alongside. This is the second trophic level. They get their energy from the plankton that they feed on, and other microbes live around them. It's going to pass its energy on to the ocean perch who likes to nibble on these shrimp. This is second trophic level, so they are herbivores. They eat the little plankton that are producers. And the name of this species is a burrowing shrimp. They live in an estuary environment. They tend to live in the sea while they're reproducing, and then when they're young, they form a salt barrier and they come in and live in the grasses to protect themselves. It's an adaptation to help protect themselves against predators. This is an estuary perch. It's a medium-sized fish that would eat those shrimp. That's where they get their energy from, and they're going to pass their energy along to other estuary birds such as the estuary heron, who eat these fish with their long bills that are adapted to being fishermen in the shallows of the estuary. This ocean perch trophic level would be a consumer. It's third trophic level, so they're actually a secondary consumer because they eat the herbivore. They eat the shrimp. They are heterotrophs because they are other organism consumers. And last but not least, we have the heron here. He's right now got a small fish in his mouth. You can see his long bill is adapted for living in this environment, and his long legs are adapted for wading. This heron is at the top of the food chain at the fourth trophic level. He is a tertiary consumer. This organism gets its energy from fish, and it doesn't pass its energy on to anybody except the decomposers. because nothing in the estuary chooses to eat the heron, so it is considered the top of its food chain. Thanks for listening to my presentation on this food chain from an estuary biome. I appreciate your attention, and I hope that this sample is helpful to you as you create your projects and work to use those vocabulary words from class to demonstrate what you know. Thanks for watching.